All right, everybody, let's look at how we create our site for the Real Deal Taco. How do we log in? You'll end up here if you go to Wix.com and you'll go to Get Started. I do happen to have an account, so I'm going to continue. But you will create one. And I'm going to say skip for now, for me. You'll just follow the steps. Until you get here, you won't have all of these because you haven't built all of those. These are just sandboxes for students that I have. But you will have this. You'll have this button. You'll come up here. You'll stay away from the Wix Studio. That's a paid account. And you'll use Create on Wix Editor. We do not want to use chat or any of those. They're going to lead us to use it, but we're not. We don't need any of this. They're going to add content and we don't need it. You can skip through everything, or you can try and come up here and skip to the dashboard. We wait for this to build. All right, so here we are. You want to ignore this. This isn't where you name your site. This is a domain they want to sell you. We do go up here to Design Site. And now we'll end up here. Usually there are tons of websites here, so not sure why this is doing this. It may not be like this for you. It may be that they all come up for you. But either way, we're going to choose blank templates. If you end up with Wix Harmony, you're going to ignore those. Wix Harmony will have the green label. It may be that they know I never use it, and that's why it's not coming up. It may be that under all templates, I see it still isn't coming up. So it may be just on my end, so be careful. And make sure you don't choose anything that says Wix Harmony. What you do want to choose, you can either start from scratch or the minimal layout. So let's use the minimal. It'll get us there. And we select Edit. All right, we do not want to generate text. We're going to X out of that. And here we are. When we first came in here, you saw that it had all the labels. They were all showing. They're still there if we roll over them. We will not use most of these. You will use this a lot, and you'll use this. Okay. So here we have elements we can work with. You're not going to use all of them at all, but you'll use these for sure. Okay. If you happen to lose your navigation, you'll probably come down here and drag one. Always stay with your theme. Okay. You will use this, the add pages and the add elements. Notice that there is question marks for everything, and you can go in and ask anything you want, and it will give you some breadcrumbs to find out where you need to be for your answer. So this is what your site menu looks like. If you have a lot of other things here, there are applications you don't need. There may be a gear, select that, and then delete them. Okay. So here we have your basic pages. In week 3, these are going to be all the pages you need. You won't even need a home if you don't want it. If we delete the home, it's just going to default so that the next page is the home page. Okay. All right. So we have a contact page. We do need that. We don't really need a gallery page for this. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. We don't need it for Real Deal Taco. But what we do need is a location page and a menu page. So I'm going to come up here for the location page. I can use a blank, which would probably be pretty easy. because if you use any of these, you'll have to delete things. You'll have to delete all the placeholder images. I've seen these a million times. Everyone has. You'll have to take all that out. You don't need a landing page. But I think I'm going to choose a blank page for my locations. And this will come up here, and you can just put in locations. And done or return. All right, so now we have this. Great. We want to keep contact last always. As a web standard, it's where people are used to finding it, and we don't like to shake things up for them unnecessarily. So I could, this always looks like toast to me, but I could add this, and what it will do is kind of assume what I want here. Okay, or I can come up here, it's the same thing, and add elements that way. All right, so that's just if you're wondering what this is. What I recommend you start with after you get your pages, there's another page we'll look at, that's the menu. But once you get in the ballpark here, you're going to come up here and change this. A lot of this is what you'll do in week 3 also. Real deal tacos. All right. And you'll also want to add, okay, you're up here in your header, you can add an image, go to upload, and let's see. And let's say I want the logo, and where that would be under artwork, logos. I'm going to go, in this case, the JPEG. It's a smaller file, and it's uploading, and there it is. Let's see, so now I'm going to add that to the page, and there we have it. Grab the corners to resize it so it's in our header. We can take this toggle, bring it down a little bit, not too much, we don't want a lot of scrolling there, but we could do that, and you can put that where you want for the most part. Now this has some columns. I don't really want that many columns, so I'll show you what's going to happen if I manage the columns. Let's say I take out the second column. It could be that my navigation will disappear. Okay. So let's see. When that happens, if that happens to you, don't panic. You can go here, go to your menus, stay with your theme, and you can just drag one over here, and it will keep the same. Notice it didn't put gallery here. It put the location because that's the pages we actually have. You can make this more narrow if you like. Let's see. We don't really want to do that, but you can see that it's there. All right. Now we could go here and see our media, and here we have this. I don't think I can drag it. Actually, I can. So once you have it, you'll still have it. If anything goes wrong, don't worry about it. Okay, it's a really forgiving platform. But I do think this needs to be a little bigger. We don't want to crop it in any way. And I have a strip here that I don't know that I need, but we're going to do this. I can go a little higher. I do like this to be at least an inch. Okay. All right, so you'll have this, and you can play around with the font, right? You can edit this, don't use that. You can edit the font. You can go to something bigger if you want. A heading 1 is fine. If you don't want your heading 1s to be that big, fine. Search engines like to have a heading 1 first, and then sequentially down to a heading 2, 3, 4, 5 on your page. But yeah, you could change that font. We just don't want too many fonts. We want one for headings and one for body copy. Okay, you can see, you can center that. You want to do that. Now come down to your footer. I'll show you, you can either select that, double click it, or you can select Quick Edit and it will come up here, maybe a little easier to see. And you're going to make that 26, and you're going to say Real Deal Tacos, and you can remove the Wix. And then that's all you have to do. It will be there. Okay. You will add your disclaimer, so you may want to add a text box for that, a small probably, and drag that down into your footer, and then you're going to put that paragraph that I gave you with the assignment here. Okay, just selecting it, and you can paste it in there. Over here if you want, or however you want to do that. All right, you will link up your social. Notice it's pen over here. Okay, you can unpen it by doing that, and then you can move it if you want. You can move it down here, but it would need to be a horizontal, right? So let's go to the layout and make it horizontal. Okay. I like to have them in the footer because it's easier when you go to mobile someday. They don't just kind of show up randomly. Let's see. No, but you can change the color. Do not use any of these images. All right, but you can change the color. You can use maybe the color of the company. That would be good. You can put an image there of tacos or something. So now let's go on over to, let's look at our home page. Okay, this is what I was looking at. You see this particular website template. This isn't just one image. You can tell by the arrow. It's a gallery that we had, and now it's got a few. So we want to go to Manage Media up here, and you can see all of them, right? So if you just want one there, you can just remove some. You can remove all of them if you want. You can replace this with a taco or what have you. Okay, so you could put something here, one of your images, and I'll let you decide what you want to put there. So let's look at locations and about. Let's look at the about. Okay, we like to left align paragraph text because it's easier for people to read and it gives you a nice straight edge. Okay, we do like to have the same text. Let's see, what size do we have here? This is a heading 1, so it's this. I made that a little smaller, so I'm going to do that. You don't have to. You could go in and make that all caps so maybe it looks a little better. This is a background, so you could change that, and you could select image. You could go and get something from Shutterstock. Actually, would be fine. You can look for a couple, and maybe you decide that this is the couple you want, and they're going to show up here. Okay, that's one way to do that. And maybe that's going to be the couple who has the food truck, right? I will let you use those. The location page again, let's go back. You're going to add the information, okay? So you're going to add title. You could use, we've been using this, but probably a 2 would be good, but locations, right? You're going to make sure it's centered. Okay, there. And you're going to add that information that we gave you, the schedule and all of that. You don't need a map. A lot of people like to add that. You don't need one, but that's what you're going to do. It may be that you are going to use all your text in white. That's fine. But be consistent with it, probably. Okay. That's how you change color. All right, so you're just going to add more text. Something easy to read, paragraph text, like that. Maybe you're going to have text, a heading 3, you know, for the hours of operation or something. But you're going to play with that and set that out. I will tell you that you can combine Monday and Wednesday because they're the same location. You can also combine Tuesday, Thursday because they're the same location. So if you don't want a lot of scrolling, you can do that. Okay. Let's see. So now the final. Well, let's look at the contact page and then I'll show you the one that you're going to spend the most time on. If we go to the contact page, we don't need the placeholder. We don't need that. We have that at the bottom, so I'm going to move that. I want to move all this up because I don't want a lot of scrolling. And so we could do that. We're not going to have table reservations because it's a food truck. We're not going to have restaurant orders. We don't need that. We will use the menu. Okay, so we'll add that. And that's all we're adding. So now we have a menu template. Notice that this, I'll make sure you can see, is added at the end. So we want to change the name. We don't need to say new, and we're going to make sure it's not where the contact needs to be. So we're going to go to Pages and Menu, and we do have the restaurant now, right? The restaurant menu. But we're going to come up here back to our menu, and we're going to just drag this down. So now we have the contact where it should be. You can double click on this, however you want to do it, and take off new. You can select done or hit return. You could also rename it here, okay? But I usually double click. All right, now that we have this, what are we going to do with it? You have all of the images and the descriptions of the food items given to you. So you'll enter all of these. How will you do it? You'll come up here. If you're on this, clicked onto this section, you'll go to Manage Menus, and then you'll manage, and here's your menu. So you would edit one of those. You're going to add the new item, the name of that. You're going to describe it, given the information that you're given. You don't have to use labels, or you can. This is where you would put your price, and you would change the image. It's going to give us this. So let's say I want to put that one in because I did upload that one. And I'm going to say save. And now we have this. You're going to put the name. And you would go through each of these. Okay. If you have more than you need, then you're just going to delete that. All right. All right. So let's X out of this. So we can go back here. Now, if we go to settings, we can go to layout. Do not use AI for this. Just go to layout, and you can decide how you want this, if you want it differently. Okay, you have this. Obviously here you don't have as many images, but then when you submit this, I will ask that you put some images in somewhere, somehow, to resize this. And you can make these smaller by increasing these. All right, so these are things you can play with. All right, and this is where you'll spend the most time. Well, you'll spend some time just building the other pages a little bit, true, but this is where you'll go into the details. All right, but you totally can do it. Just leave time, that's all it is, okay? And then later, if you want to go to, we don't ask you to come here to site, but you could change the background if you wanted. Again, stay away from these, but maybe you want to do that, maybe you don't. Let's see, get this. Now, this is an important part about sharing. Okay, so you want to publish your site, and you can copy that, or you can come here. And this should take you outside of your editor. That's what you need. Okay, you can see that you're not in your editor anymore. It's working, okay, etc. All right, so you can copy this URL. It shouldn't have an issue. It should give me this site. But that's what you will submit. The thing you really don't want to submit is going to be from inside your editor. I won't have access. That's password protected. You can also preview it if you like. Okay. But that's how you get the link. Okay, so I hope that helps. And any kind of questions you have, you can reach out. All right, everybody. Have a great afternoon. Contact me with any questions whatsoever. All right?